everybody, we're going to try something new, and that is show and tell. Are we ready? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, this is dedicated to not only photography, but also as being a photo artist. And if you're not sure what that means, some of this will make sense as I go through today, but you can look at some of my past videos where I actually describe what is the difference between a photographer and a photo artist. Now, somebody came up with the idea, and I thought this was a really cool idea, and that is, why don't you feature some of your favorite photo artists and how they influenced you? And I went one step further, and that is I came up with an idea called show and tell, almost like we used to do in elementary school. And I'm going to start out very basic with this, and that is I'll highlight a few of my images up front, but also I want to highlight a couple of my students' images. Now, for the people who are fairly new to this channel, again, my background years ago from 1997 to 2016, basically I almost lived on the road. I was actually a Photoshop instructor doing live seminars, and I've done over 2,000 seminars and worked internationally, and that is all over the United States, but also Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. When I retired in 2016, it gave me more time to dedicate toward myself in photography and photo art, even though I started working as a photographer back in 2005 on a part-time basis, because obviously I was doing Photoshop full-time, traveling around. So I always had a week and sometimes 2 weeks off a month, and I knew my schedule 3 months in advance, so I could schedule some shots in between there and did some weddings and that kind of stuff. Anyhow, with that out of the way, let's take a look at show and tell and start out with emphasizing that if you're new to photography, you may not know what you like in photography. So I'll just share what I did, and that is I tried every single venue of photography I could try over time to see what I liked and didn't like. And the ones I fell in love with in the very beginning was doing weddings. So I did weddings for quite a while. My last wedding I did was in 2019. I didn't call myself a wedding photographer because I wasn't doing that over and over again. I just did a few in a year, not a lot, because I just didn't want to get bogged down with it. But I was doing a lot of family stuff. My favorite thing to do was shooting kids. And one of the things I didn't like to do, but yet I tried it, because I have 2 grandkids. When they were born, they were newborns, and I'm thinking, ooh, wow, this is fun. I think I want to shoot newborns. And so I tried that a couple times with other people, and it just didn't work out for me. I didn't have the temperament. I discovered that you were on baby time, which meant Mom said, oh, the best time to come is 10 o'clock. And then they get there, the baby's doing nothing but crying, beat red in the face. I got to feed him again, calms down, goes to sleep. Okay, we're ready to shoot. All of a sudden, it's diaper change time. And then it's crying again. And it's like, all of a sudden, you're there for like over 4 hours or something, and you're just not getting the work that you want to get done. It's just, you have to have patience. So people that do that kind of photography, I totally respect you and your patience to do it. I just discovered that's not for me. But give me kids between 5 and 12, look out. I love doing that kind of stuff. So you got to try different venues to see what you really like if you're fairly new, again, to photography. So let's go into show and tell. And let's take a look at just quickly some of my work. I think I should dedicate an entire video to my work and how I came up with my looks and stuff. But starting right out, one of my favorite things, I started with my grandkids. And I can't remember how old they were at this time. They might have been around 5 years old, something like that. And I came up with this really cool, unique look. And I know, being in photography and knowing how artists think, and that is, you do what you love to do. You don't listen to anybody else. Your audience will find you. I know a lot of people love this stuff, and a lot of people don't like it. And that's okay, because the people that don't like it, they're not going to be my client. I could care less. But the people that love that work, and they're large canvas prints, by the way, there's only one person they can get that with, and that is me. So this type of work is incredible. And if you're around a long time like I have, I'm starting 18 years in photography, and again, still on a part-time basis, kids grow up, and guess what? High school senior stuff happens. And I get calls, do you do high school seniors? And the answer is yes. So quickly, this is a 7-month-old, same kind of style and look, but obviously can't stand, so he's sitting, but same consistent look, large prints with this. Okay, let's take a look at this young man, and that was somebody I did about a year and a half ago, and that's a high school senior. And when I got hired to do this, I was doing the shoot in their garage or in their house. It's based on their convenience. And I'm always shooting, on location. But we also had to go to a park. I did the formal shoots for mom and dad, things that are going to go into the yearbook, some group shots, that kind of thing. Found out he loved to play video games. He's a gamer. And so I showed him on my portfolio some of the gaming type composites I do for high school kids. And his jaw dropped, his eyes got big, and said, I want that. So I had him sit down on a stool in the garage, took this shoot. I had the background to work with. The only thing is he didn't want to be sitting on a conventional old-fashioned TV, which typically I do most of the time. But he said, I want a gaming box to be sitting on, not an old-fashioned TV. So I had to take a shot of a gaming box and put it into the composite, and this is what I came up with. Now, with this composite, he got a 13 by 19 print. He got a low-res image for social media. You can imagine what happens. Gamers know gamers, and a lot of his friends are gamers. And when they see that image on social media, ring, 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 the phone is ringing. Hi, you did my son's friend, Nicholas, and we would love to have you do his high school senior shoot, and he wants something as a gaming composite. They don't know it's called a composite, but they just saw that, and they, the kid wants to have the same thing. So it's just an underground way of marketing without, having people have to go to a website or whatever. I mean, I have a website, but I found most people don't go there. It's photographers that go there. My clients come from client work I've done. It's just all word of mouth and stuff like that. But I do unique things that stand out that nobody else is doing. And because of that, they're coming to me, which means I get to charge a little bit more of a premium when I do stuff like this. Okay, an example, this is a model. This is for me now, because I've discovered that over time, you're typically doing images. When you're using that camera and you're taking pictures or creating photo art, you're doing it for one of two reasons. One is for yourself, so you don't have to listen to nobody. You're satisfying yourself and what you want to do. But the second thing is for clients, and you have to make sure you're delivering what a client wants. And so this example here, I got a hold of Jenny, which I've worked with in the past. And Jenny, I found out, I didn't know this till later, she makes her own outfits. And she has this really cool warrior outfit. And when I brought her into the studio, I wanted to come up with at least 2 composites that I can do. Well, she caused a problem because she was so good in the studio. I ended up doing 6 different composites. I just had a blast doing these. Doing composite is not work to me. It is fun. And I keep pushing myself on this. I'm going to bring her in the studio again later this year in 2023 because she's got some other cool outfits, and I'm going to do some medieval type stuff with castles in the background, that kind of stuff. More of that for the different outfits that she has. It's going to be fun. But anyhow, this is the shot that I took. One of them I picked in the studio out of the 6. And this is what I came up with. And this was one of my favorites. But I'm going to tell you, all 6 came out really cool. But there's a couple of them that are my favorites. And this was, I would say, top of the heap right there. So again, just an example of some of my work and what I love to do. I can do traditional photography. I just got to be honest with everybody. I get bored doing photography, just traditional stuff. This stuff I love doing. And it just pushes me. And clients tend to like this kind of stuff. And that's why I keep doing it. I keep thinking out of the box creatively. And that's why I wanted to dedicate a channel to try to take people to, okay, do traditional photography. And I will, go on a rant about certain things that you were told to do, but in my opinion is a big lie. And some of that stuff I've already done, but I'll do more in the future. And I'll back it up with facts and stuff. It's just not my personal opinion. It comes from other photographers that have been around longer than me who are very, very successful in the business full-time as a photographer for 20, 25, 30 plus years. So I can back it up with that, those statistics right there. Now, I'm going to share a couple of my students because, as I mentioned before, I teach at Midwest Photography Workshops. I'm a part-time member, a faculty member member, I should say. And I teach different Photoshop topics, but I also teach some topics in the studio and out at parks on how to shoot kids and my technique and method. And I have permission with a couple of my students to showcase their work. One is Dr. Stern. And Dr. Stern is very unique. He's still a practicing doctor, is in his late 60s, early 70s, I believe. He does photography and photo art and abstract stuff as a release. It's a hobby for him. But this guy has been to every single class I have ever taught, and some of them he came to twice because he just enjoys diving in and experimenting and keep learning deeper and deeper, not only in photography, but in Photoshop and techniques that he could use to apply to his imagery. So this is an image that I asked permission to show, and he took a close-up of a feather. And with Photoshop, I'm not here to explain how he did that with masking and blending, but we don't need the software right there. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, really cool technique. And he just enjoys doing things like this. But here's what's really unique. Check this out. He has the ability to look at objects, especially trees, and he analyzes the bark of the tree, and he can see half a face, whether it's a person or an animal. And he will take a picture of that bark of the tree close up and then bring it into Photoshop, cut half of it out, duplicate one side, flip it, merge it together, and come up with a face. So here's the example. I mean, you could see the image of some type of animal face right in there. But that's not fooling the tree. That was put together by, again, masking, cutting, flipping, and he just has the knack to see this. It's incredible. So here's another one. I mean, you could see that, right? But if I had the before shot, you look at that and go, it's just a tree with a knot and stuff like that. He sees things differently, and it's just incredible. So I always tell him that, this is not for client work, because you do things for either, like I said before, yourself or for client work. He's doing this for himself. I said, man, you love this stuff. Just keep doing it over and over and over. And he's starting to get a collection of his art pieces. And I'm going to try to convince him to do a tabletop book for himself. Just, you can go to blurb.com. Doesn't cost a lot. You can design your own personal book to have it on your coffee table, whatever, to showcase work you've done over the last, say, 2 or 3 years. And I think that he should actually do this. So I'm going to encourage him to do it because he's coming up with some really cool things. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take a look at somebody that's doing what I would call traditional photography, and he's moving a little bit into as a photo artist, and that is Anthony Kaiser. And Anthony has been at the studio many times at Midwest Photography Workshops, and this was one that he did, I think it was a little over a year ago, and obviously a circus theme, and that's one of his photographs, very clean, nice, put together. But what I liked is he started getting into portraits. And when I first saw this portrait, I'm thinking, country singer. Oh, who is that? Is that Garth Brooks? Or do you know Garth Brooks? Well, it's not, but it's somebody that looks just like him. It's like I did a double take on this. It's like, holy cow. Anyhow, I love the light setup. Very simple light setup, but it's where you position the light. And I told him basically keep repeating and doing that with different people. And you'll find that you'll refine that look a little bit based on your eye, and do it because you love to do it, and don't listen to anybody else. Just keep doing what you love to do. And eventually you will have a following of people that want to hire you just for your portrait work. I mean, that is cool stuff. So it's really interesting to see somebody evolve over time in photography. And then he starts doing stuff like this. And when I saw that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where did he get this idea from? And that's compositing. Hello. And when I saw this, my take on this to him basically is, like Joel Grimes would tell me, you keep doing that over and over again. You need to do at least 100 of those. And once you start getting close to 100, you're refining your techniques, and you're going to knock this out quicker and faster than the first time you did this. But he's onto something that, again, is very unique. And if he loves to do this kind of work, he should keep doing this over and over and over again. Okay, so with that out of the way, I've shared some different images of myself and other people. And again, you do photography and photo artwork for two major reasons, typically, and that is for yourself and yourself only, or for a client. And obviously, if it's for a client, we need to deliver what they want. Okay, with that out of the way, if you could do me a quick favor, and that is if you could like this video, because I found out later that affects the algorithm with YouTube, and if there's a lot of likes, they tend to push it out so other people can discover my channel. So again, if you could like this, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit that notification bell if you haven't. The notification bell is important because every time I upload a video, and I'm trying to do at least 4 a month, which is an average of 1 a week, you'll get notified on a video. So with that out of the way, I always say this, and that is get that camera out, start practicing making mistakes, keep thinking literally out of the box. Until next time, see ya.